I'd like you to think of a time when the phone rang and before you looked at it to see who was calling, you knew who it was. Not because somebody said they were going to be calling you at 10 o'clock and it was 10 o'clock, but just you knew who it was. Or think of a time, and this is especially before cell phones, when there was no indication of who it was, the phone rang and you knew who it was. Or think of a time when you'd been thinking about somebody the day before, somebody you hadn't talked to for a while, and they emailed you the next day or they called you. You're like, man, I was just thinking about you. And then you wonder, did they hear you thinking or did you hear them thinking? These are examples. It happens all the time, right? There's nothing weird about it. That's telepathic communication. There's nothing strange about it. For some reason, our culture has convinced us that that's strange. But so this is what animal communication is. It's telepathic communication. It's communication without words. Now, when we're talking about animals, we can understand what they're thinking or feeling by watching their body movement, their facial expressions. They'll whine or bark or meow or whatever. There's all of that. But there's also just hearing or seeing their thoughts, and there's nothing strange about it. This is all I want to say today. There's nothing strange about it. There's nothing strange about it. I I can't imagine a child who doesn't know how to speak to animals, who doesn't hear them. Children hear them. They hear trees. Babies see things. They're pointing and laughing. What do you think? They're just pointing at the air? I don't know what they're seeing. I don't remember what I was seeing. But I just want to plant in you today, remind you that we can see and hear things that we may have forgotten about. And so I'm going to be teaching an animal communication class in August. And I just want to point out, I teach it a couple times a year, that I'm not really teaching it. I'm not teaching you how to do it. I'm reminding you how to do it because you already know how. It's a matter of getting out of your head and the voice is telling you, this is silly, this is weird, this is woo-woo, because it's not. And dropping into your heart and hearing from here, listening with your heart. And so that's what I help people do. Get rid of the voice of the judges in your head and just drop in and listen. Quiet your mind and listen with your heart and remember what you already know. So again, I invite you to think of times where this has happened to you, where you knew something was going to happen or something was happening, a good thing or a bad thing, and then you found out about it later and you're like, oh, wow, I thought about it. What time was that? Oh, yeah. So run through that a little bit. Just remind yourself of the times where you have experienced this. And if you want to drop it in the comments, I'd love for you to share some of the times you have experienced this. Remind yourself, maybe write them down in a journal, but write them below. Okay, and then we'll talk about this more later another time. Take care. I'm Pam Sorellis of Winged Horse Healing, and I'm here to remind you that you know how to talk to animals. Take care.